Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different. We're not just analyzing a story. We're performing, well, almost an autopsy on a failed rebellion.
Yeah, it's quite the setup.
We're strapping in for a descent into this world. Carved from warring Fey courts, these brutal dragon shifters, and this empire built, quite literally, on massive glaciers and ice.
Right.
And the stack of sources we've got here, it gives us this raw, really unfiltered look at a desperate, pretty chaotic fight for survival, led by just a small group, really emotionally charged protagonists. The stakes are total, the weapons are deeply personal, and the enemy, well, they turn out to be shockingly well prepared.
And that's really the critical distinction, isn't it? When we look at this conflict, the high-level power dynamic, it's one of just absolute domination.
Total control.
Yeah, the Iceheart Dynasty, you've got Emperor Bane and his consort Justina. They maintain total control over these divided Fey courts. The impoverished Seelie and the much more powerful Unseelie,
Right.
and the Dragon clans, too. But their power isn't just numbers. It's this terrifying, meticulously crafted blend. Physical dominance, sure, but also sophisticated magical manipulation and a kind of devastating psychological warfare.
Psychological warfare. How so?
Well, it seems designed specifically to leverage the deepest traumas and, desires of the enemies. It's surgical.
Okay, so our mission today is, it's complex. We've got to cut through all the magic and the geopolitical maneuvering to really uncover the central emotional core, that specific trauma and power of our narrator, Selena, and analyze this complex, often fragile web of alliances the rebels were forced to try and weave together.
Yeah, fragile is the word.
And most importantly, I think, we need to dissect the strategic brilliance of the Icehearts, how they turned this pursuit of simple justice into a harrowing, almost unwinnable fight for the whole continent's memory, really.
That's the question.
So we're asking, how did personal magic and these deep-seated grudges, how did they not just fuel the war, but actually become the very tools of the enemy's victory? All right, so you simply cannot understand the strategic failures or the successes, really, of this rebellion without first getting into the psychological burden carried by the protagonist, Selena.
Absolutely central.
She's burdened with this truly unique kind of world-altering and, frankly, terrifying form of magic.
Let's unpack the technicalities of this power a bit.
Okay. So it's the ability to create permanent emotions, essentially out of nothing. She can inject these immutable emotional states into a target.
Permanent, though. That's the key.
Exactly, permanent. We see her use it to inflict crippling guilt or despair, even paralyzing fear on enemies, and it is devastatingly effective. But the sources, they make a crucial point about the internal cost for her. Every time she uses it to inflict these dark, powerful emotions, it fills her with this intensely addictive, sparkling pleasure.
Okay, so there's a feedback loop.
A huge one. It's described as the ultimate drug. It gives her this intoxicating sense of control that she actively craves. The text mentions a sharp smile spreading across her lips when she uses it.
That's right. And here's where that moral conflict becomes the central driving force, isn't it?
Yeah.
That same power giving her immense control in the present. It's also the source of her deepest psychological trauma.
Yeah, it's deeply ironic.
Her ultimate fear, the memory she keeps coming back to, the one that makes her, unable to breathe with guilt, is this belief that she accidentally inflicted permanent hatred on her own parents. Years ago.
That's brutal.
She constantly hears their words echoing, "You ruined us. You ruined everything." So the core of her angst, it isn't just loss. It's the paralyzing uncertainty. Did her parents hate her genuinely? Or was their rejection a result of her own childhood, uncontrolled magic?
And that inability to know, that's the ultimate psychological jail cell for her, isn't it? It's completely antithetical to the control her magic gives her. It makes her the perfect example of this powerful individual who's just completely paralyzed by her own internal narrative.
Wow.
And this accidental, permanent emotional magic, that is precisely what she used deliberately this time on Draven.
Right. The leader of the Black Dragon clan. Her fated mate.
Her fated mate. Yeah, this is the tragic center of their whole relationship.
Okay, explain the specific nature of that magic she used on him, because the source notes define it quite clearly. It wasn't just like a fleeting anger she inflicted, was it?
No, not at all. It was precise. A manufactured emotional element described as a red-violet flame of hatred.
Red-violet flame.
Yeah, injected directly into his chest. Now, in this world's magical structure, permanent emotion magic, it operates outside the natural psychological healing process. It's like a foreign body. An infection designed to suppress the natural function of the mate bond.
Which is based on love, connection.
Exactly. Immutable connection and love. So the magic was deemed technically impossible to remove because the bond itself, the source of love, was the only counterforce strong enough to fight it. And the hatred was specifically designed to suppress that counterforce. It was a perfect magical stalemate, a calculated tragedy she inflicted to save his life from something else.
To save his life.
Wow.
But it created this unimaginable internal war for Draven.
Constantly at war with himself, forced to exist in this dichotomy.
So when he's near her,
he experiences this crushing mix of desperate longing and unyielding hatred. It's tearing him apart. We hear his internal monologue, right? Feeling so fucking tired of it all.
Yeah.
Because his genuine mate bond connection is fighting against this manufactured, powerful, specifically targeted hatred. The whole, just maintaining that internal battle while trying to lead a revolution. It must have been
unbelievable pressure.
It was an incredible drain. And yet, the sources do highlight how the genuine connection, that underlying magic of the mate bond, it would still flare up. It would assert itself.
How so? Like in specific moments?
Yeah, we get vivid details. Those moments when the bond violently tugs or pulses against the manufactured hatred. We see it when she intentionally presses herself against him at the rock wall, deliberately testing his hatred strength.
Ah, yes.
We see it during that forced kiss, which was intended to transfer magical energy to heal him after their crash.
Right.
And even during moments of physical danger, like when he instinctively shields her from a blade in the city, the bond just overrides the hatred long enough to ensure her survival. It's still there, fighting.
Okay, but the climax of this personal story arc, Draven's internal war.
Yeah.
It isn't just a happy ending, is it? The sources say it's more like a radical technical demonstration of willpower.
That's a good way to put it.
He makes this profound, intentional choice. Prioritizes the connection over the manufactured feeling. He shatters the permanent magic. Now hang on. If the magic was designed to be permanent, wasn't this victory maybe a bit too easy? Does the source imply some technical loophole? Or was it purely emotional willpower? Because that seems inconsistent with the world's, rigid magical rules we've seen elsewhere.
That's a really crucial challenge to raise. And no, it wasn't easy at all. It was described as a near-fatal exertion for him.
Okay.
The sources seem to suggest that the permanent classification only holds if the natural counterforce, the mate bond connection, is passive or suppressed.
Ah, so if it's not actively fighting back.
Right. Draven's victory was a total conscious surrender to the love that had been fighting inside him all along, empowering the mate bond magic itself to become the active counteragent.
So he weaponized the love, essentially.
In a way, yes. It implies that true fated connection in this world is maybe the only force capable of overriding manufactured permanent negative emotion. He shattered it on his own, proving that even the most rigorous magical programming can, potentially, be broken by choice and willpower.
Wow. Okay, so this internal liberation, this huge personal victory for Draven, it's then immediately juxtaposed with Selena's deepest, most agonizing loss.
The timing is brutal.
In a horrific act of just calculated cruelty, Jacina executes Selena's parents. Direct retaliation because the rebellion managed to wound and capture Bane.
Jacina's move was just ice cold, literally and figuratively. Her rationale, you take one of mine, I take three of yours.
Chilling?
It's a direct escalation. It's a statement that the Icehearts do not play by any rules of justice, only retribution. They went directly for Selena's Achilles heel. They demonstrated their mastery of psychological warfare. They understood that family, particularly the source of her self-loathing, was her greatest weakness. They knew exactly where to twist the knife.
And what does this all mean for Selena then? This event is truly devastating, obviously, but her ultimate agony, which connects right back to her initial trauma, is the agony of the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. She realizes with this crushing finality that she will never know if her parents hated her genuinely or if their final rejection was just a result of her own accidental childhood magic.
That uncertainty again.
Yeah, this paralyzing regret. It's the one emotional state she can neither create nor destroy with her magic.
Yeah.
It becomes this powerful, paralyzing force, which, ironically, then fuels her external drive for revenge.
So that's the pivot point.
This is the moment she pivots from internal paralysis to external action. Because really, What else does she have left to lose at this point?
Right. So that forced pivot, catalyzed by the trauma of her parents' death, it immediately throws the rebels into this logistical nightmare, seeking allies just to survive.
Yeah, where do you even start?
Well, the first place they look, naturally, is the Fae courts.
And the disparity between those courts is just glaring based on the descriptions. Selena's home, the Seelie court. It's depicted as a backwater village.
It's wholly ruined. Ruined, starved, oppressed by the Iceheart's dominion. It's just rubble and decay. And then you contrast that with the Unseelie court's capital.
Which is technologically sophisticated. Massive flowing waterfalls, glittering canals, highly advanced infrastructure.
It's night and day. A clear symbol of the disparity the Icehearts enforced.
Yeah, but the question is, why would the Icehearts allow the Unseelie court to maintain such a high degree of technological sophistication?
Good point. Seems counterintuitive if you want total control.
Well, it's likely a strategy of control through dependency. By maintaining a clear hierarchy, ensuring the Unseelie Fae are comfortable, maybe even a bit complacent and busy, they successfully prevent a unified Fae rebellion.
Divide and conquer.
Exactly. The Unseelie king, Orion Nightbane, he's a powerful player, no doubt, but he operates within the Iceheart's established economic and technical confines. He's got a gilded cage.
Okay, so the rebellion itself, it's this odd assortment of high-power individuals, isn't it? You've got Selena and Draven, obviously.
The core pair.
Plus, Isra, the self-proclaimed Seelie claimant. Orion Nightbane, the Unseelie king you just mentioned. Alistair, the sort of quick-witted fire wielder.
Who seems like comic relief sometimes, but isn't.
Right. Galen, Draven's second-in-command, and Lyra, another dragon shifter. This group only works because of a series of really uneasy, high-risk bargains.
And the most precarious of these bargains, by far, is the Unseelie alliance.
With Orion.
Yeah. Orion, the Unseelie king, he's only there because of a bargain forced upon him by Isra, the lethal ice wielder.
Okay.
And Isra, it's revealed pretty clearly, is lying about her heritage. She's claiming to be a descendant of the highly revered Seelie queen's second daughter.
Why is that line important, the second daughter?
Well, that specific line holds historical legitimacy for leadership among the Seelie. It's a claim to the throne, essentially. So if Orion discovers this foundational lie, which he seems suspicious about, oh, definitely. The whole alliance and the crucial military support of the powerful Unseelie court, it's gone. Poof, in a heartbeat. He is basically just waiting for her to slick up, watching her like a hawk.
Okay, so that tension, that constant threat of collapse, it provides some of the most dynamic moments in the sources, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
We see this constant, high-stakes, witty, and just high-tension banter between Isra and Orion. This isn't like textbook political negotiation.
Not even close. It's raw, often kind of sexualized political warfare played out in dialogue.
Oh, absolutely.
That scene in the massive dryad tree trunk dining room, it's perfect for highlighting their cultural clash.
Describe that a bit.
Okay, so you've got Galen and Selena just struggling to eat these raw piles of food the dryads prefer, like roots and unidentifiable pulps.
Appetizing.
Meanwhile, Alistair is offering to just use his fire magic to fry their potatoes right there in the sacred dining room. And dryads, just silently observing, clearly judging the, barbaric dining habits of their guests. It's awkward.
And that's the backdrop for Isra and Orion's chemistry.
Exactly. He's kind of obsessed with her unyielding demeanor, calls her face like ice, describes her as lethal, sharp, unyielding. He treats their interactions like this dangerous intellectual sparring match. Then you have the infamous ice sculpture incident. Isra creates this piece of ice, clearly meant to be threatening, that Orion immediately points out looks distinctly like something else.
Oh, boy.
And he immediately turns her threat into this, vulgar compliment, suggesting she must fantasize about him. It makes her lose her composure for just the briefest moment.
Get under her skin.
Yeah. They're constantly threatening each other with death while simultaneously noticing the other's specific vulnerabilities, like Isra's blush or Orion's momentary lapse into genuine concern when she's hurt.
So it confirms the Unseelie alliance is held together by, mutual need, political leverage.
And this undeniable, sort of terrifying attraction that they both vehemently deny. It's a powder keg.
Okay. Pivoting now to the dragon clans, the sources reveal this highly complex and fragmented structure of potential alliances, which Draven and Selena are desperately trying to unify.
Yeah, and the breakdown of the dragon clans really demonstrates how effective the Icehearts have been at using history and vulnerability against the rebels. It's not straightforward.
So walk us through them.
Okay. The Blue Clan was the easiest win, relatively speaking. Successfully convinced to join after some deliberation and a promise of autonomy down the line.
One down.
The Brown Clan is conditional. They'll only consider joining if the highly protected Green Clan is secured first, which shows this deep respect for history and intellectual authority within the dragon culture. They value the keepers of knowledge.
Okay, so the Green Clan is key.
They are the core strategic vulnerability. They're the keepers of the world's entire written history, shielded in this mountain fortress. And the Icehearts secured their allegiance very simply by threatening to destroy their priceless archives. History itself is their greatest hostage. The Icehearts understood. If you control the past, you control the present narrative. And the Green Clan will sacrifice pretty much anything to preserve their records.
What kind of history are we talking about here? Why are these archives so critical to the Icehearts specifically?
Well, these aren't just, lists of kings or battle logs. These archives hold the history of the world before the Icehearts seized power 6,000 years ago.
Ah, the before times.
Exactly. They contain the true story of the Fae's enslavement and torture of Bane and Jacina themselves. The very events that, in the Icehearts' view, justify their current regime of revenge.
So if they control the archives,
they can rewrite their narrative, from oppressors to true saviors, justifying any subsequent atrocities they commit. Controlling history is controlling legitimacy.
Got it. Okay, next clan.
Next up, the Red Clan, led by Gremar Fireclaw. A crucial target because they physically control the territory of the Sealy Court.
Selena's homeland.
Right. Gremar himself is characterized as being tricky, brutal, and merciless. Makes him a difficult target for alliance. He seems to lean more toward collaboration with the Icehearts for stability, maybe?
Doesn't sound like an easy sell.
No. And finally, the disaster of the Orange Clan, led by Rin Tanaka.
What happened there?
They were initially hostile, and the alliance attempt just failed immediately. Rin tried to capture Draven on the Icehearts' orders.
Capture Draven, why?
This failure stems directly from Draven's past. Apparently, Draven, 140 years ago, severely punished the Orange Clan when he put down their earlier rebellion against the Icehearts.
Wait, Draven put down a rebellion for the Icehearts?
Yeah. The sources reveal he was brutal, enacting crushing force.
So Draven, the hero of the current rebellion, had previously been the brutal enforcer of the regime he's now fighting against.
Seems so. That adds a huge layer of moral complexity, doesn't it?
It really does. Why did he put down that rebellion? And what does that past cruelty reveal about his character before, Selena and the current events?
Well, it reveals that before Selena, Draven was purely the shadow of death, basically the Iceheart's deadliest weapon, capable of cold, unquestioning obedience. The sources suggest he put down the Orange Clan rebellion because it was deemed a threat to the stability he was ordered to maintain. His methods, described as crushing and unforgiving, meant the Orange Clan had this 140-year-old blood feud, not really with the Icehearts overall, but specifically with Draven.
So his past actions directly hindered the current rebellion.
Severely limited their options. And it demonstrates how deeply Draven was once compromised by the Icehearts' agenda. He wasn't always the rebel leader.
Okay, so the takeaway here is just the complete fragility of this rebellion. They've got one sure ally, the Blue Clan, and the Unseelie King, who's actively looking for a reason to bail. They're operating from this massive position of historical debt and weakness.
Absolutely. It's an uphill battle from the very start.
Right. So despite their weak position, the rebels try to move from just, defensive positioning to strategic offense. They start with this plan to neutralize Gremar, the Red Clan leader, and seize the Sealy Court territory.
How did they plan that?
Well, they actually successfully scheme to capture him. They use a forced message issued by Aymar, the administrator, to lure Gremar to the Golden Palace.
Forced message, using Selena's magic.
Exactly. This was pretty sophisticated maneuvering for them at this stage. It relied entirely on Selena's new, more ruthless ability to use her permanent magic to issue specific paralyzing commands, like making Gremar literally freeze mid-stride when she hit him with her power.
Okay, so that showed some capability.
It showed the rebellion was capable of deep scheming, moving beyond just reactive tactics. However, the plan failed spectacularly.
What went wrong?
Because the Icehearts are playing chess while the rebels are, still learning the rules of checkers, it seems.
Yeah.
The moment they captured Gremar, Emperor Bane and Jacina arrived.
They were waiting. Gremar, the source says, had protocols in place for a betrayal attempt. It proves that both he and Aymar were still fully loyal to the Icehearts. This entire capture attempt was anticipated, maybe even encouraged.
A setup. But they did manage a minor tactical victory there, didn't they? They wounded and captured Bane himself.
They did. That was significant.
What enabled that? How did they manage to hurt an emperor?
Well, the use of specific tools. First, they used dragon steel.
Dragon steel.
Mm.
What is that?
It's described as a type of magically hardened metal created by the shifters. It's known for its ability to cut through magical wards and protection. So they used that to inflict a wound that bypassed Bane's powerful defenses.
Okay. And the capture part.
That was Orion's memory magic. Orion is one of the few capable of truly manipulating the mind, apparently. And he used his power to show Bane these painful, recurring past memories.
Memories of what?
Of the time 6,000 years ago when Bane himself was enslaved and tortured by the Fae.
Wow. Turning their own trauma against them.
Exactly. It was psychological revenge using the Iceheart's own historical trauma against him. It forced him into this state of temporary collapse, allowing them to capture him.
Okay, but that's small victory. It was really just the prelude to the Iceheart's true master plan, wasn't it?
Unfortunately, yes. The rebels eventually stumble upon the real strategic threat. The Icehearts are apparently searching for the mythical Gold Clan.
The Gold Clan. What's their deal?
Correct. The Gold Clan is believed to possess powerful, ward-breaking magic, a rare ability to just dismantle magical protection.
Okay, I see where this is going.
The Icehearts want this power specifically to destroy the centuries-old wards around the Green Clan archives.
Which hold all the history.
Right. And also the Unseelie court defenses. If they succeed, they control history and they nullify the Unseelie military advantage in one go. The fate of the world's identity and its military structure hinges on finding this lost clan, or so it seems.
And here is the core of the deep dive analysis, isn't it? The sources reveal this terrifying realization that the entire rebellion had been manipulated from the very beginning.
It's a gut punch when you piece it together.
The Icehearts aren't just master strategists. They are, like, psychological architects.
Absolutely. The whole search for the Gold Clan was a deliberate, calculated leak, meticulously designed to lure the rebels.
Wow.
The Icehearts anticipated, with chilling accuracy, that the rebels would immediately pivot to stop this search, and, crucially, that Selena would deploy her specific, permanent emotion magic as their tactical weapon of choice to do it. They predicted her move.
So how did they construct the perfect trap? You mentioned the location was specific.
Yes, they set up the entire scenario to happen at a very specific location, the Green-Doored Library.
Green-doored. Subtle.
Not very subtle, is it? It's a psychological taunt, a direct nod to the Green Clan archives that the rebels were so desperate to protect.
Okay, so the location is set. What was the bait?
The bait was Lavendera, held captive at this library, guarded by a Silver Clan soldier. Now, this guard was critically important to the plan.
How so?
He was trained, using Iceheart techniques, to resist physical pain and fear. He was immune to most conventional methods of magical interrogation or coercion.
But
He was not trained to resist despair.
Selena's specialty.
Precisely. The Icehearts knew the only way Selena could break him and retrieve Lavendera was by inflicting a permanent, crushing wave of despair, her signature move. They were weaponizing their enemy's greatest strength against them.
Without even being there.
They didn't need to be physically present. They just set the stage and let the rebels play their expected parts.
The ultimate strategic outcome, therefore, is just devastating. When Selena used her magic to force the guard to drop the wards to retrieve Lavendera, that action didn't actually free Lavendera from the library, did it?
No. Instead, the specific magical energy transfer successfully targeted and dropped the centuries-old wards on the distant Green Clan archives, the very place the rebels were trying to protect. Oh my God.
The Icehearts achieved their primary strategic goal, getting access to history without ever risking their own forces, simply by manipulating Selena into using her own power to destroy the wards for them. They used the rebels' hope, their urgency, their most powerful weapon against them.
And the consequence is immediate and catastrophic, right?
Absolutely. Kander von Graf, the Green Clan leader, he had been imprisoned and psychologically broken by the Icehearts. He's now free to act, but under their psychological influence.
So with the wards down.
The Icehearts now have access to the archives, and Kander von Graf is apparently prepared to change the rebels' memories, maybe everyone's memories, to preserve his archives if they dare threaten them again. The potential for a continent-wide loss of history of identity is now terrifyingly real.
And this entire revelation, it's tragically confirmed by a final, shocking betrayal.
Yeah. Diana, of the Purple Clan. They discover she's wearing dragon steel on her arm, not as a sign of power, but as punishment.
Punishment for what? For a previous failed betrayal attempt against the Icehearts. The dragon steel itself causes constant low-grade internal agony. It's a leash.
Her physical state, the suffering inflicted by the dragon steel, it just underscores the severity of the Iceheart's control, doesn't it? What was her final warning?
Her warning, delivered in this broken psychological state, was absolute confirmation, she tells them. The Icehearts were playing you from the very beginning.
Chilling confirmation.
She confirms the entire Gold Clan pursuit was a fabrication. A lie designed specifically to lure the rebels into breaking the archives wards themselves. The tactical failure is now revealed as a total devastating strategic loss.
Okay, so this manipulation, this profound strategic loss, it forces Selena to confront her own moral decay, doesn't it? During a critical mission, later on securing a fake invasion signal, using that Silver Clan soldier, Fervor Austeria, as bait.
Right. She needs Ferber to cooperate and to force his hand. She finds herself torturing his sister and mother using pain magic.
Torturing innocents.
It's an act of cold, calculated cruelty. But in that horrific moment, the source describes her seeing a reflection of herself screaming in the sister's eyes.
A mirror moment.
Exactly. And this is when the 6,000-year cycle of violence really comes into focus for her. This image of her victims triggers the shocking realization that she is acting exactly like Bane and Jacina did when they were the ones being tortured and enslaved by Fae 6,000 years ago.
She hears their voices.
Yeah, their cruel ancestral voices echo in her head. It's your turn to live in poverty. It's your turn to struggle. And she just gasps in horror, realizing, I am turning into them.
That's a huge moment.
It's a crucial pivot point for her moral evolution, I think. She forces this rigid distinction upon herself right then. She decides she will be completely ruthless and kill those who stand in her way, the Icehearts, their guards, collaborators.
Okay.
But she explicitly refuses to punish innocents for crimes they didn't commit. She pulls back right at the edge from becoming a new Jacina and just repeating the cycle of eternal generational revenge.
She finds her line.
She finds her moral limit, refusing to sink into the same depravity that created the Icehearts in the first place.
Does this distinction, though, this refusal to become fully ruthless, does it make her a strategically weaker leader? Given the context of the war, she's fighting against utterly ruthless opponents.
That's a great question. Arguably, yes, in the short term. The Icehearts operate with zero moral boundaries. Selena's self-imposed limit maybe provides the enemy with clear parameters on how far they can push her without her breaking their captive allies, for example.
Right.
But maybe in the long term, it defines her leadership as fundamentally different from Bane and Jacina. It could potentially give her a kind of moral authority that might unify future allies, assuming the rebellion survives long enough for that to matter. It's a gamble.
Okay. Meanwhile, the whole Levendera situation is finally clarified, right? After they successfully capture her in the city.
Yes, finally. Her capture confirms her immense utility because the local dryads actually tried to stop the rebels from harming her. They intervene.
Which means she's important to them.
Very. And the reveal is massive. Levendera is not the lying fake Isra claims she was. She is the actual Seelie Queen's second daughter.
The one Isra was pretending to be descended from.
The very same one. And she's over 6,000 years old. Her profound madness and erratic behavior suddenly make perfect tragic sense in this historical context.
6 millennia of existence. Plus, the sources mention she's fused with something.
Yeah, fused with the Mother Dryad.
Mother Dryad? What is that?
Exactly. The source describes it as living with 6,000 years with another person inside my head. The Mother Dryad is essentially the consciousness of the entire Dryad network and maybe the natural world itself in some ways.
Wow. That sounds intense.
Having this chaotic, ancient consciousness fused with her own explains her terrifying erratic behavior, her mood swings, her desperation. Her only loyalty to the Icehearts was conditional.
What was the condition?
They promised her an artifact that could potentially separate her consciousness from the Mother Dryad, give her back her own mind.
So she wasn't evil, just desperate for release.
Exactly. This revelation instantly transforms her from this mysterious villain or pawn into an immensely valuable, deeply complicated, and potentially powerful ally who controls the network of dryads, a significant force in nature itself.
Okay, let's try and summarize the final status report for you, our listener. The rebellion achieved a massive personal victory.
Huge. Draven shattering the forced hatred, freeing their mate bond, that's enormous for them. And they gained a crucial, if unstable, ally in Lavendera, the true Seelie heir.
They can now be together fully, emotionally, and magically aligned.
Yes, but that personal victory came at the direct expense of the strategic war.
How so?
The Icehearts now possess the terrifying power to destroy all wards. And through their manipulation of Condor von Groff and the Green Clan archives, they potentially have the ability to change the memories of the entire continent.
Erasing history, controlling the future narrative.
Completely.
So the protagonist's final state, and it's one of terrifying clarity and focused intent, isn't it? Having gained Draven but lost her family and the strategic war effort, she shifts completely.
Yeah, the idealism is gone.
She tells Draven, pretty bluntly, that the time for high-minded ideals is over. I don't want justice anymore. I want revenge. I want my fucking revenge.
It's raw.
And Draven's response, now that he's fully unbound and devoted to her?
It's terrifying in its commitment, really. He matches her ferocity. He embraces the darkness she's now projecting. He says, "You want to destroy the world. I'll help you burn it down."
Wow.
They've secured their personal connection, yes, but they have officially stepped onto the path of scorched earth nihilism, embracing the very revenge cycle they seemed initially to be fighting against. #outro.
So what stands out most profoundly from this deep dive, for me anyway, is the technical analysis of power in this world. It seems that the most devastating weapon isn't a sword or a blast of fire magic, but deep emotional intelligence. And the calculated manipulation of personal trauma combined with exploiting the rigid rules of the magical systems themselves.
That nails it, I think. The Icehearts won the critical strategic battle because they played the long game. They used their enemies' hopes, their fears, their strengths. Even Selena's unique magic against them with just breathtaking precision.
Yeah.
So that's the core synthesis we arrive at, really. The rebels won the battle for Draven's heart, definitely. And they gained a key ally in Lavendera, the true Seelie Queen's daughter.
Big wins on a personal level.
Huge. But by allowing their emotions, their urgency to stop the perceived Gold Clan threat, their hope for a quick win, and Selena's reliance on her incredibly powerful but predictable magic to guide their intelligence strategy, they walked right into the central trap.
And put the whole continent at risk.
Putting the entire continent at risk of losing its history and its very identity to the Green Clan's memory manipulation under Iceheart influence.
Okay, so that leaves us with a truly provocative thought for you, the listener, to consider. We established that the Icehearts, Bane and Jacina, were once victims themselves, brutally enslaved and tormented by Fae 6,000 years ago. Their current actions are rooted in this deep generational trauma.
Right.
Does their revenge on the current Fae generation, who are, technically innocent of the original crime, does that make them pure villains? Or are they merely the inheritors and now the enforcers of an endless, agonizing cycle of violence? Where does the blame lie when the cycle goes back that far?
It's a tough question, and tying that back to Selena's pivot point, if she had crossed that final line at the Osteria incident, if she had killed the innocent family, embracing the full, zero-boundary ruthlessness of the Icehearts, would she have become the most effective leader the world has ever seen, capable of truly defeating Bane and Jacina by mirroring their own brutal efficiency? Or would she just have become another monster?
We'll let you decide where the line should be drawn. In a world that seems pretty much destined to burn either way. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.